How to create a user account with Ansible? I'm going to show you in a live demo with some simple Ansible code. I'm Luca Berton and welcome in today's episode of Ansible Pilot. Today we are talking about Ansible module user. The full name is ansible.builtin.user, which means that it's part of a collection of modules built in with Ansible and shipped with it. It's a module pretty stable and out for years. It manages user accounts. It supports a huge variety of Linux distributions, Sun OS, Mac OS, and FreeBSD. This module uses on Linux distribution user-head to create a user. On FreeBSD, this module uses pw user-head. On macOS, this module uses dscl to create a user. For Windows, use the ansible.windows.win_user module instead. This module has some parameters to perform a lot of tasks. The only required is name, that is the username of our account. State allows us to create or delete a user. In our case, the default is already set to present to create a user. Password is very often used in conjunction with password_hash filter to generate a password. Please note that you could specify the encryption algorithm, in this case SHA-512, as well as the salt to make your password more robust. We could specify all the usual Unix properties, such as UID, comment, shell, expires, password expire minimum and maximum time. Another important parameters are group and groups. Please note the and s. The first, without the s ending, indicate the primary group of user. The second, with the s ending, set the other group membership. So be very careful with the s ending. It could end up a very different setup. Usually, we would like to create a user home directory, so create underscore home parameter is default to yes, but we could override if we don't need a home directory. Let me also highlight that we could also generate a SSH key with a lot of options. The fingerprint and the public key are available in the long list of returned values. Let's jump in a real-life Ansible playbook to create a user account. And welcome to my editor. So first of all, I would like to create a user example in my Linux box. So let me start my playbook with one play that is named user module demo. I will target all hosts, and because I need a super user root power, I will switch become to true so I can use a privilege escalation. My task will be only one, so the task list will be one, and let me name like user example present. I'm using ansible.builtin.user module with some parameter. Let's start with name, and example will be the username of a user. For password, I'm going to usually use the filter hash that is provided by Ansible. So let me start with the double parenthesis, that means that the result of password with a pipe of the function password underscore hash. Let me specify also the encryption, that as the first parameter is SHA 512, and the salt that will be, for example, my secret salt, but I will really encourage you to use a more robust one. You can use also some random seed that you can find in the documentation. Let me close my parentheses, so password will be the calculation of this function. The user will still log in with password, but on the system side will be stored in the encryption way. Let me add some groups, so I will show you how the user can be member of multiple group. In my case, will, so it will be able to perform the sudo and use the ADM, so reading the log file. State will be present and is a string, so let me use the double quote. As a shell, let me specify bin bash, which is also the default. System is a parameter that defines if this need to be a system account, so minus 1000. In my case, no, which is also the default. Create a home, yes, we would like to create the home directory, and let me specify, in my case, home/example, and let me add also a comment like Ansible example will be great. Example, yeah, that. And that's it. I could ask also the generation of SSH keys, turning on the parameter generate SSH key. And we will see that we are expecting that Ansible to create a .ssh directory with all the requirement file with a public key and private key. And let me take a look. Oh, there is one mistake, that create home now is with an underscore since Ansible 2.5. And here we are. Now it looks good. Let's jump to the console. And welcome to my console. First of all, let me connect to the target system and verify that the user example is not present. Let me connect with the same user that I'm going to use with Ansible and switch with privilege escalation. With sudo su, let me have get end password, and we can see that the user example is not present. Let me grep just to double check, and is not here. So obviously also the home directory doesn't exist. Let me execute ansible-playbook -c and specify my inventory file and then my user.yml playbook. It is going to perform one task that I'm expecting in a changed status, and here it is. It creates the user example with all the property that we defined. Let me execute again to double check that is not creating. Look, this is great. It's only double check that the user exists with all the property that we specify. Let me connect to the target machine and execute again get end passwd to check it out that the user example exists. Cool! Let me verify also the group membership with get end group. And boom, yes, is member of ADM and will as expected. The latest check is going to be on the home directory of the user. So let me list the content on home example, yes. And here we are, the home directory is present and also SSH with a public and a private key. Good job, Ansible. The latest check will be try to connect to the target machine with a username and password we specified in the playbook. So in my case, SSH example at the IP address of the target server, let me type the password, that in my case is password, and yes, here we are inside. Let me verify also the permission of the file that is going to be assigned to example user and example like a group. It seems that everything is fine. Now you know how to create a user account with Ansible. Subscribe to channel not to miss the next episode of Ansible Pilot. Have a great day!